Hey everyone, alright, my name's Sam Espiritu. I'm a branch manager for the Logan office currently, and about $56,000 in career sales, and I'm here to talk to you guys about push periods. Alright, well, just to give you a little background, did 6K in my fast start, won a trophy for my very first SC3, which was the first push period I'd ever been a part of. So that was my very first summer. Went on to win a trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. It was awesome. And I was a full-time student while I was doing that. And then last summer, I actually looked it up. I sold about $5,000 for RDC push. Then I went on to be the #1 assistant manager for SC1, and then also had a 10K push after that. So, push periods are great. I love them. And I have a couple of tips for you guys on push preparation. Okay, the biggest thing that's going to affect your guys' pushes is the preparation beforehand. So the first thing is you need to have a solid why. You need to know why you're doing it. Whether that's I just want to save up money for school. I really need to be able to pay tuition. Whether that's I need to save up for a mission. Whether that's I just want to prove it can be done. Some of you are like that. Or whether or not it's just you want to beat the records, but you need to, whatever the reason. Your reason could even be petty. Like I need to be #1, or I need to beat the heck out of this other person in my office. Whatever it is. But you need to have a solid why. Because once the why comes, the how comes. But once you know your why, print it out. Print it out on a goal sheet. You need to know what you want to go for before it happens. Because you can't just be in the middle of the push and all of a sudden realize, wow, I need to earn this much money in order to pay for my rent next year. Right? You got to think about these things beforehand. You need to know exactly why you're doing it, whether that's, I want to help other people. So figure out why. And then, build up a lot of names. Okay, one of the things that I did for SC1 or SC2 last year was I spent all of SC1 building up for SC2. As a warm-up. You need to have about 100 to 150 HM3s, all right? Trust me, without names, you have no appointments to do. And it all comes down to the number of appointments being done. And so make sure that you're building it up beforehand, right? You need to be thinking outside the box with names. Who haven't you called yet? Do you have a high school directory? Do you have a church directory? These are things you need to be thinking about beforehand. And you need to nail recommendations every single appointment up until the push and during the push. You need to be good at that kind of thing before you head into the push. You need to let your manager know what you're going for. Okay, every single push I've ever had where I've been successful was when Matt knew exactly what I was going for. And, that way he was able to keep me accountable. But once you say it out loud to yourself, it makes it seem more real. Solidifies it a little bit in a sense. So you need to let your manager know what you're going for. And you need to realize that once you know why, once you tell your manager, you need to commit to that. Let your parents know beforehand, too. One of the things that I really appreciated was my parents knew ahead of time what I was going to be going through. They knew not to bother me with errands. They knew that I needed to just be left alone for a while, but they were also very supportive, So they knew I could do it, and once you have your parents' support, I guess, it makes it 10 times easier to be in the push. Your friends as well. Hopefully they know you're going to money camp, right? Cool. Also, one of the bigger things, too, is you need to mentally prepare yourself for this push. What I mean by that is, you need to make sure everything in your life is in order before the push happens. For example, even something as simple as getting a tire rotation. That's going to affect whether or not you have to cancel some demos one day. Right? I say that out of personal experience. Or mentally preparing yourself for the amount of phoning it's going to take. Right? You need to mentally prepare yourself for what it's going to take in order for you to succeed. Because you are going to have to commit, and there's a certain amount of work ethic that you're going to have to prepare yourself for. You can't go into a workout before mentally preparing yourself that it's going to hurt a little bit, right? But you also need to mentally prepare yourself for the reward and why you're doing it. And I can tell you guys it's completely worth it. I love push periods. Love them. Just because it's a chance to get to know a little bit more about yourself. And again, so you know what? Make sure you know why you're doing it. Have a solid why. Because I'm telling you right now, if you know why. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are. Your how is going to find a way, right? You need to build up a lot of names. Make sure you have names and numbers to call, especially, qualified people. Easiest way, recommendations, guys. Nail them. Let your manager know what you're going beforehand so that he can do the necessary things appropriate to help you. Appropriate things to help you. All right? Again, let your family and friends know beforehand, and again, mentally clean yourself out and prepare yourself, because realize once you're in the push, you're already in the push. All of that, you'll know whether or not you're prepared by how your results are, right? So those are a couple of tips. I hope they help. They're very simple tips, but there's some things that really, really helped me. And I know you guys are going to do well. Let's have rockin' push periods.